Hello and welcome to another VEX IQ tutorial video. Today we are going to be doing an activity called Where's the Wall? So in this activity what you are doing is you are taking your VEX IQ robot and you are programming it to program the sensor at the front to be able to detect objects and turn around and move in a specific amount of time. So what we are going to do is we're going to be looking at a code that has been written in another program, and we are going to try convert that into the VEX IQ program. So if we have a look, here is the style lesson that has been created for this activity. In it, if we have a look, there is a step-by-step guide of programming or adding the devices into the VEX IQ program so that you are able to then do the code. So you can pause here and follow the instructions. I have done in previous videos how to add the devices. So you can either pause and read this, or you can look at the other videos. The main focus is looking at this code. So this code has been created in a program called Robot Mesh Studio. But what we are doing is, since we are using VEX IQ, we are going to try replicate this code as best as possible in VEX IQ to see if we can create make the robot complete the Where's the Wall activity. Now, at first glance, you can see that the blocks do look different, and there are some different blocks that are used in this that we won't be using in VEX IQ, or it's because they just have different names. So just to get started, if we go to VEX IQ, as you can see, I have named this to Where's the Wall. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure that I have all my devices added. So I still have my drivetrain added, which is the two motors and the gyro. The other thing, and what we need to add, is the distance. So if we add device and we click this one, it is the first gen distance that we are using, and that is connected to number 2. We have the devices that we need. Now, what we are going to be doing is we are going to be looking at the code and we are going to try and recreate it. So just to get started, I'm going to show you the different blocks that we are going to be using in this code. So for starters, we're going to start in the drivetrain area. What we're going to be using is this drive forward block. We're then also going to be using just the normal drive forward, or the one without the specific distance. And then we are also going to have a stop driving block that we use. So we have those three. If we go down, the next thing we are going to use is in the control. So we have 3 blocks again that we're using for this. So we have, it's the third from the bottom in the control section. It is called repeat until. So basically this block means that when we put it into the code and make it run, the robot is going to complete repeat a specific action until something is finished. So the next one we are going to put is this one called if blank then, or the if then block. So it's about the 4th one down in the control section. And what this block means is, in the code, if the robot detects a specific thing that we're coding in, then it is going to run something. So next is in the operator section. As you can see, they're kind of split up into different sections. We're going to go into this 3rd one, and we're going to pick the first 2 blocks. So it is a blank greater than, or a blank less than. So with this code, if you can see, there are different shapes. You might be able to see that the shapes of these correspond with the shapes in the repeat blocks. So that's a little bit of a hint about what's going to pair up. We're then just going to jump back up to the sensing. So if we have a look, there's all these different blocks. We are not going to do these hexagon pointy ones. We're going to look at the curved ones. And there's two that we're going to pick. It's the second one from the top, which is timer in seconds. And then it's the very last one in the distance sensing subsection, where it is distance to distance in millimeters. So that is the sensor that we're using. That's the name that we've given it. And then it's distance in millimeters. The final thing is a sound, which we're going to make the robot play right at the end. So I'm just having a look at my notes to make sure that we've got everything, and we do. So if we have a look at this code, as you can see, it has two blocks that we're not going to use. A start block, or this is same as our when started, which is already there in our code, so we don't have to worry about that. This second block where it says the timer, we don't have to worry about that. First part we are going to do is this, the repeat until. So if we go back to here, we have our repeat until block. We know that's what's starting. In this code, it has repeat until timer elapsed, or the elapsed time in seconds is less than or equal to 20. So basically what this is saying is after 20 seconds, it's going to repeat this block of code here that's inside the repeat until it elapses or 20 seconds is over. So that's what we're going to do. So we need to repeat until, and then we have a timer in seconds block here. Now that doesn't fit in. We're going to want to take one of these blocks. So we have this one, which is blank is less than 50. So when we grab a block, as you can see, we have the shapes that are the same. We want to line up the left corner of the block into the blank space, and when you do, you should see it light up. So see how there's a line that lights up in the repeat until block? When that lights up, if we let go, it slots in. We can do the same with this timer in seconds. So if we put it in, see how it glows where the 50 is? We don't want it there, we want it in this blank space. And then what we are going to do is, let's make it 30 seconds. So we know that whatever we put in here, it's going to repeat until it hits 30 seconds. Now, let's go back. Now, if we have a look, our next one, it says begin driving forward at a power of 100. Now, we do have power, but we have it as a separate block. So that's the drive velocity. Now, you can put the drive velocity in. However, there's going to be something that I will mention a bit later if you want to change the velocity. So basically, we want to drive forward. Now, as you can see, there's no distance, which means we're putting in this block, our drive forward block. Now, if we go back, so as you can see, there's a lot of flicking back and forth. Now, it has here set distance obstacle to distance 10. So that is just saying what the name of the distance is and what it's connected to. For us, we have distance 2 because we have our distance is connected to the second port. So again, we don't have to worry about that. We then have here, if this block that says if do, we don't have an if do block, but we do have if then. I'm going to pretend that you said something because you all know it. Now, what it's saying is if something happens, then it's going to do something. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab this block. If blank is less than 50, then something will happen. Now, we want to say that if the sensor detects something that is from a certain distance, then it will do something. So we're taking this, our distance 2. So just like before, we're going to take the left side and line it up until it glows in the green block, and we put it in. Now, we can change the distance. However, Depending on the speed that the robot drives will depend the size of the number. Now, I always recommend, no matter what you're doing, it never goes below 50. Because once you put this number below 50, the robot will struggle to stop in time when it senses the object, and then it won't stop. If we have it above 50, we know it's going to have enough time to sense the object and then stop. So a safe number I like to do for this is 75. Now, if we go back and have a look, we have a couple more things that we can add in. So it then asks us, in this code, it has the robot drives in reverse for 100 millimeters, then turns around at 135, and then it'll repeat. This is the start. What I want you to do is, I want you to complete the code. Actually, I'll put one more thing in. I will put this one in. Stop driving. So, this is the start of the code. I want you to copy this, and then I want you to finish it, plug it into the robot, and test the code in the robot and see if it works. If it doesn't work, make some changes until it does work. Once you're done with this, annotate. I want you to put in the code in the style lesson, submit it, or before you submit actually, put in the code, annotate it, and explain any troubles or anything that went wrong, anything that you weren't sure about. And then you're done. So here's the code, have a go, give it a shot, see if you can figure it out and play around with the rest of it and see if it works. And I can't wait to see what you create.